Hi guys, in this video we're going to make a little witch doll cake. I've just got a board I've iced, and all I'm going to do is take in a dome shaped cake. Now it's not particularly nicely shaped, isn't this one, from when I've taken it out of the cake tin. I'll put a link to where you can get the little cake tins from. I'm just going to put a small amount of buttercream in the centre of my board, or you can put it on the bottom of your cake, whichever is easiest, and we're just going to push that down in place. We're just going to now cover this in buttercream all over. So once that's covered, we're going to roll out some black icing. So I've got some here that's just ready to roll, which is a little bit easier than dyeing your own. So taking a large cookie cutter, we're just going to cut a few little circles, which will create a bit of an underskirt for us. And I'm going to take another smaller cutter and just cut the centre out of each of these. And then we're just going to put a little line across each one. So taking a little foam pad and your little circles, just using a balling tool, we're going to rub on the very edge to create a bit of a frill, like that. And we're just going to attach this now to the bottom of our cake, all the way around. So you'll find it won't fully go around the cake, but that's fine because we've made a few of them. Just going to overlap this one, then put it on. Taking the next one, we're just going to put it slightly higher up than the last one. Creating some little frills on the bottom. And then we're going to cut one larger round piece now for the rest of the skirt. So I've rolled out some more of the black fondant, and I've just got a cake board here. So it's just a 7-inch one that I'm going to use here. It's only to draw around for my skirt, as I don't have any round cutters large enough. So it's just to give me a rough circle. Don't worry too much if it's not perfect. And I'm just going to frill the edges in the same way that I did for the other little bits. If your fondant's really thick, you'll find it quite difficult to frill the edges. Or you might want to add a little bit of modelling paste to your fondant, which will just make it that little bit easier for doing the edges. Once you're done all the way around, I'm just going to put this now over our cake. So I'm just going to smooth it off at the top. And can you see at the front, you should be able to just about see the frills showing underneath from the other layers we've put on. It's a little bit longer at the back, but that's fine because she looks like she's got a little bit of a train going on. You want to almost get little folds in it so that the dress sticks out. So just smoothing it down a little bit with my hand now. And what we're going to do now is pipe on a spider web. So I'm just going to use some royal icing. So what I've done this time is, rather than making it myself, because it takes me ages and I don't use a lot of royal icing, I've just bought some ready-made, which is nice and handy. Excuse the food colouring in my fingernails. So I've just put it in a small piping bag, and I've used a 1.5 nozzle at the end. Now starting from the centre, we're just going to pipe some pieces out. Don't worry if some are a bit shorter than others, that's fine. And they don't have to be equal lengths apart. Again, it's broken a little bit there, but it adds to the spider web effect. Okay, so I'll just speed this up so you can watch it a little bit faster than I'm actually doing it. So once you've put enough lines all the way around, we're just going to connect them with little lines going across to create a bit of a cobweb on the dress. Do them tighter together near the middle, and as we come further down, we'll bring them further apart. Just keep going with that all the way down the dress until you've filled it all. Now I've swapped to flour and modelling paste for the body, just to make it a little bit firmer. I'm just going to knead it till it's nice and soft. And I've got a cake pop stick that will run through the body and into the cake. I'm just going to roll my body into a little bit of a triangle, and then we're flattening the point on one of the triangles. And I'm just going to try and push this cake pop stick through the centre of my body, and I'm just going to push this now through the centre of the cake. So check the bit you want to be at the front, and what I'm going to do is just add a little bit more royal icing where it's going to go, and we're going to push this in as far as it will go. So you're able to see my body's in now. We'll just add a little bit around the top of the stick for the neck. So I've just rolled a small piece of the modelling paste, a little bit of water. And what I'm going to do is wrap it around the stick, almost giving her a bit of a polo neck collar like that. Now the stick is quite long, so I'm just going to cut a little bit off the top. We want plenty that'll go through her head, but that top little extra bit would have probably come above her head. So we'll work on a couple of little arms. We'll keep them really basic. So we'll just roll a piece nice and thin like that. And then what I'm going to do, a little slant in, like so. So make sure they're similar in length. I'm just going to cut the points off the end. I'm going to stick these onto the body, just using a little bit of water. So just at the top, where the shoulders would be, you're just going to push those onto there. So I've got a bit of green flour and modelling paste now that we're going to use for the face and hands. Now, you do need to give it a bit of a knead. So we're going to start with just a small amount for the hands. I'm going to pull off 2 small circles, just push them down a little bit so they become little ovals. And I'm just going to put a little cut in for my thumbs. And we're going to stick these on at the bottom of where our arms have gone. So just push it so it just pokes out underneath the arm that you've added. We'll just prise the thumb open. Same on the other side. Now, I want my witch to be quite cute, so we're not going to give her a big nose. We're going to keep her quite simple. I'm just going to put a little mouth in, using my knife to create a little slit and a little line just at the end like that. Prise it open a little bit with the end of a paintbrush. And then what we're going to do is just add 2 eye sockets, again using the bottom of our paintbrush like that. So I've got 2 little black balls of fondant that we're just going to insert for the eyes. I'm just going to give her a tiny, tiny nose. You can give her a big witch-like nose if you want. And I'm going to put a little hole in the head where I want the lolly stick to go. I'm just putting it in first so that I don't squash her head. So I've painted on eyelashes and an eyebrow on one eye, just using food colouring. So I'm just going to paint on a little line for an eyebrow. It's a little bit bigger than the other one. And then a few little eyelashes. I can never quite get them even on both sides. And then once you've done that, we can insert the head onto the stick for the body. So I'm going to insert this now onto my stick. It's just pushed out the top a tiny bit. I'm going to take a little bit of orange fondant now, and we're going to make her some hair. I'm just going to try and make it in just a couple of pieces rather than loads of individual strands. So we're just going to squash it down so it's still quite bulky, like this. I'm going to see how far round her head it comes. So I'll just stretch it so it comes from side to side. Okay, just going to add some little lines in the bottom for her hair. I'll do it on the other side as well in case we can see it on both sides. I'm going to put a little bit of water on the inside. You can use edible glue if you prefer. I'm going to wrap this around the back of her head. So I've just given her quite short hair. You can do it longer on yours if you prefer. Pinching it in around the top. And I'm just bending it round slightly at the bottom. And we're going to put a couple of pieces on the front. So for the front pieces, I'm going to make a little teardrop shape. Oops, if you don't stick it to a dress. A little bit of water on there. And we'll just stick that in place. Another piece at this side. Stick another one in the middle. I'm not too worried about having that little bald bit in the centre, as a hat's going to cover that. Now for a hat, we're going to go back to the black. I'm just going to use the fondant this time, but if you prefer to use the modelling paste, you can do. Just going to roll it out. And we're going to cut a disc. So taking a round cutter, we're just going to cut out a circle. We'll put a little bit of water in the centre, and I'm just going to place that in the middle of a head. And now we just want to roll a bit of a cone for the top of a hat. And we're going to cut this off. Just keep it rounded at the bottom. Bit of water on there. I'm going to stick this now in the centre of a hat, covering the bump that was left from the cake pop stick. So at the moment she's got quite a long pointy hat, but you can bend this round to whatever shape you want with it. So kind of zigzagged mine side to side a little bit. And then we're just going to do one last thing and add a little ribbon around the trim of a hat. So we'll go back to the purple just because it goes nicely with the board. We're going to roll a nice thin strip. We're going to cut this out. And we're going to put this around the edge of a hat and break it off where it meets at the back. She's now finished. Thank you for watching.
If you liked this video and would like to see more, please click on the images of the other videos suggested. Also, please do subscribe to my channel using the button at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. You can also visit my cake website and my Facebook page to see more cakes and ideas.